Are you just fed up with your marriage? Lots of people feel that way. Feel this isn't the marriage you signed on for? Stay tuned for an informative, edgy, and jam-packed episode of Recharge Your Marriage coming up right now. Hi, I'm Zev Halpern, and you're looking for ways to reconnect with your spouse. There are ways to get your marriage out of stuck and into a place where the two of you can refresh the way you conduct your marriage and start doing the things that will most importantly help you enjoy your time together. That sure would be a change for the better, wouldn't it? Hell yeah, it would be. We have a great show. We'll be featuring the It Takes Two Players improvers and continuing with our real-life couple interviews, special guests Mick and Tara Carbo, an energized couple and business team with a great story. We got some mail, so let me share it with you. Sharon from Potomac writes, I miss the closeness we had in our marriage. The kids, work, make it so difficult to relax and be close like we used to. Sharon, you have a definite case of intimacy life interruptus by kids and stress. There are a lot of things you can do, but don't give up. There are ways to get you reconnected for some close time. Jason from Tacoma Park writes, I just can't stand the fighting and arguing. Every time I say to myself I'm going to resolve to make this better, we're just arguing again. Jason, seems you need to get some help so you can turn off some of that old enough to get something new started. That's the mail for now. To get you focused and started on reclaiming your marriage, I want you to have a free gift. The 3-day Recharge Your Marriage Challenge. To get free access, log on to rechargeyourmarriagenow.com/challenge and transform your marriage. Well, let's get to the Marriage Matters segment. Here's the It Takes Two Players to get us in the mood.
Every day, it's the same freaking thing. Come home, fighting traffic for an hour. I come home, nothing's done. Have you made anything for dinner? You've been home all day. No, of course not. You haven't.
No, I haven't.
No, you haven't.
I haven't. What do you want me to do?
What do I want you to do? I'm out there working. Do you realize how long it takes me to get home? And I'm hungry. Look, I'm going to try to... What do you think you should be doing right now?
I was just watching a show. It was one show, a half hour.
You watch that show every day, and don't you know what time it is? Don't you know when I get home?
I know. I just...
You expect me to put up with this every day, and I don't deserve it.
Look, I can't take this anymore. I can't do this. I'm going to my room, and I just want you to leave me alone. Don't follow me. Please, stop.
Ever wondered why your spouse is so critical of everything you do? Well, there might be an important message you're missing. Criticism is an extremely detrimental aspect of unhappy marriages. A conversation off to a good start can be stopped in a millisecond by a spouse unleashing a critical insult delivered directly to the most painful place. So there can be criticism that's either unintentional or completely destructive. Good or bad, positive or negative, a highly critical spouse is still trying to communicate something deep and meaningful to them. So it's time to listen to what they're really saying. They won't stop criticizing you because they can't find a way to deliver their message. So they accomplish the opposite of what they're trying to do. Spouse has ensured without a doubt that the message will not be received and will definitely not get what they want. The only natural thing you can do when criticized is to throw up any available defenses to stop hurtful criticism, which, because spouse knows your pain buttons, will be aimed with uncanny accuracy at your deepest vulnerable places. So what to do? The best remedy is to make a huge attempt to reframe criticism into a positive. Is there a potion for that? Some people might ask. One way to do this is to ask yourself, what positive intent is my spouse trying to communicate in this moment? You might feel your spouse is intentionally trying to hurt you. Thanks, Zev, for the late heads up. But I offer for your consideration is that although your spouse is criticizing, they're still trying to tell you something positive. You might say at this point, hey, Zev, when someone's bombarding me with criticism, I should duck, be the better person, take a leap and think, this is a positive thing? Feels like war to me. I think I'll get back in my tank, if you don't mind. I get it. Look, if it's nasty and intentional, then this is a completely separate and very serious issue. One that both of you should immediately seek help with. However, most of the time, it is positive. And if we understand the positive intent, it'll be easier for us to understand exactly what needs aren't being met of theirs and how we can meet those moving forward for a better marriage. Hey, try to look at the reality of why they won't stop criticizing and find a way to stop the war. It's time to call a truce and establish a climate in your marriage where you can safely say what you feel, your desire, and what you really are about. If you do that, amazing things can happen. Criticism gives way to understanding, and better marital outcomes emerge from the battlefield. This is worth a try. So get your courage up. Keep your insult bombs in check. It's time to make an honest attempt to at least listen and most honor your spouse's needs and desires. There will be two fortunate people left standing, you and your former overly critical spouse. Now, I'm walking down the hall to the bedroom for the sexpectation segment of the show. Please join me for some really useful insight and information about a closer, sexier marriage. Hi, and welcome back. All right, if we're going to get something out of this sexpectation segment, meaning helping you get what you might be needing, a little sexual relief, some sexual healing, like Mr. Marvin Gaye expressed, we first have to let go of some of that anger and resentment we're carrying around. So I got something I want you all to try. This works for all aspects of life, by the way. Take all that frustration you're experiencing regarding what your relationship isn't. You know, the disagreements, fighting, frustration of the sex you're not having, either because he or she doesn't want it, or you can't do it right now for legitimate reasons. Now squeeze all that frustration into an imaginary ball. Imagine you're crushing silver foil into a ball like this one. Look at all of mine I've been walking around with. Pick it up with one or two hands, and for your sake and everyone's sake, toss it as far as you can. Come on, really heave that weighty mishmash of feelings as far away from you as you can. Think of it as toxic, radioactive intimacy kryptonite that only serves to block all paths to any insight that might work for your relationship. Come on now, don't hold on to angry resentments. Throw them far away from you. When you do, you can get clearer about your next step in forging ahead. Good. Now that we're all traveling lighter and clearer, ask yourself this. Is yours an intimate marriage? Here's some questions to think about from an array of studies that looked at intimacy in marriage. Do you show affection for each other on a regular basis? Hugs and kisses? Do you say please or I'm sorry in the course of your daily contacts? Do you say something nice to each other from time to time? Honey, you're looking nice. Do you compliment your partner in front of others? Do you laugh at each other's jokes? Are you playful with each other when you make love? Or is it a lifetime of making baby sex with no creative improvising? Do you look each other in the eyes while talking? Eyes are the windows to your heart and soul, and maybe a little further down below as well. Do you give each other a little surprise now and then? Thought about you. So I got you this because I want you to know you're special to me. Do you help with the house chores? Yes. Vacuuming could actually get you laid. Make love. If your answers to the intimacy questions were not the way your marriage appears, then pay special attention to some of the things we just talked about as they relate directly to emotional and sexual intimacy in your marriage. It's time to refresh, clarify, and redefine terms, but most importantly, reconnect on a level where you can get your important needs met. You'll be happier and be an easier person to hang out with. Intimacy begins with taking the time to listen to what your spouse needs from you and being together in a private, more fulfilled way. Hey, even sex might happen again. Woohoo! Take a look at this couple.
Do whenever we got it together.
Okay.
So, I was looking in the computer, the desktop, and I noticed in the browser there's some porno. I'm not upset about it at all, okay? I have no problem with you doing it. You have a right to your privacy.
Yeah. Are you checking up and going in and looking?
No.
I mean, I'm a grown man and I can...
Shh. I know. I don't care what you do. Listen. I just want to make sure that it's not replacing me.
Of course not.
Are you sure?
Look.
Because I can do what they do.
I know you can. Well, that's a good idea. Look at this one.
In the Marriage Pulse tonight, we welcome Mick and Tara Carbo. Tara Carbo is a wife, mother of 3, dreamer, and entrepreneur. She, alongside her husband of 16 years, owns and operates a fundraising company called Gold Party Event. She's also the president of an animal rescue and sanctuary called Paws Animal Kingdom, where she hopes to one day fulfill her life's dream of caring for elephants and other exotic creatures that are in need of freedom and natural lifestyles. She's focused on sharing her life and light with the world as she learns more about who she really is. Mick Carbo is a husband, father of 3, and serial entrepreneur. In addition to running Gold Party event with his wife, he's a business and executive leadership coach. Mick's passion is in learning how entrepreneurs and leaders' minds and hearts work so as to support them in making their visions their reality. Mick and Tara are social entrepreneurs, creating their legacy through business that makes the world a better place. In their own words, we work together, raise a family together, learn about ourselves together, grow our hearts and minds together, and as a result of being the feisty humans that we are, we fight, yell, laugh, and cry together as we aim to reach our goals in unity. Welcome, Mick.
Thank you.
Welcome, Tara.
Thank you.
Thanks so much for taking the time to come on the show.
Thank you.
I really liked your story when we had time to talk about it.
Yeah, it's our pleasure.
You married at a young age, out of high school, without parental consent.
It's a good story.
It's a wonderful story, and I really like. Tell us a little bit about that time.
Great.
And how you got through it, because it's absolutely against the odds of
That's so exciting to hear. Sad, but exciting to be champions. So Mick and I went to high school together and really just had a couple of classes together as freshmen, and I saw him at the end of the hallway and was like, yeah, I like him. He's cute. That was like the foundation of me hunting him down.
This is true.
Yes. And I actually did write him a letter, and he probably thought I was nuts, but I basically said, you know, after, I'm sure, a couple of months into the school year, hopefully, that I planned on marrying him, and if he had any obligation, then he needed to let me know. And so we really didn't date or hang out, or, you know, we just kind of casually knew each other in passing, and then got really close around graduation and decided we wanted to get married. So by August 10th, and I was scheduled to go to Denver for veterinarian school, and he was going to stay home and figure out what he was going to do. And
the parents?
And we just got married in August, and we told our parents that we wanted to do this, and everybody said no, of course, and we thought they were insane. Like, we couldn't figure out, like, we're in love, we want to do this, it's meant to be, we're supposed to be together, and like, we need your blessing, and they said no. So my parents even offered to buy us a condo, furnish it, stock it with food, and have us try it out. And we were so offended by this offer.
They might have been pulling their hairs out.
Right.
Okay.
And,
That's what it
and
says.
we were
definitely.
like, so we just made the appointment at the Ellicott City Courthouse and got married in 1998, and then told them afterwards. And they were very upset with us. Yes. So
what's the takeaway from it all? From marrying early, everything that everybody tells people not to do, you know, kids don't do this at home. What's your takeaway for the two of you? Because it's about the two of you.
yeah.
For me, it's commitment. You know, it's really about making a stand for what we really wanted to do and who we really wanted to be, and sticking to it no matter what. Because there have been times, rough patches would probably be a vast understatement.
That's a good understatement.
Yeah. So, it's the commitment. The takeaway is the commitment for me.
Mm-hmm.
So what's your formula for a good marriage?
Lots of sex and lots of
That's his
crazy
idea.
places.
All right, so that's Mick's idea. But Mick, you shared something with me, something about giving and taking. There was a thing you had. It was almost a call, you know, that about how to make this, why your marriage works.
Yeah, so we both come from broken marriages. We both are children of divorce. And for me, it was, we didn't want to be those people. We wanted to be an example for our children and for each other and for people out in the world who are, you know, going through the ups and downs and the sort of battle of being married, that we were just going to stick it out and be together.
That's a critical factor.
Yeah.
Role modelship it's a huge factor.
I think we both really believed in our foundation that we were equally fully invested, and that we both knew that it was the plan forever, and it wasn't like, well, we'll see how this works out. Like, we both knew it was like a to the death commitment, and we were excited about that, and that was inspiring to us. I think that just laid a really thick foundation for us.
What advice would you give couples out there? You know some, I certainly know some, who are just having so much trouble communicating. What would the Carbos say to them?
Yeah, I really think it's important to understand that everybody is on their own path, growing. I mean, we got married as children. We were 18 when we got married. We've been married for 16 years. So we learned how to be adults together. We learned how to have kids. As our minds grow and perspectives change and we understand new things and our understandings are always evolving, learning how to communicate better, you have to be so forgiving and understanding. And you have to really be present that, you know, that person is learning. They're on their own journey. They're figuring out their path. And if you hold a judgment and say, you're always so this, and this is, you know, if you just think about that person as being always that way, you're not giving them the space to grow.
And forgiveness is a crucial.
Huge.
I mean, the opportunity, the ability to do that, it goes beyond what a lot of people can do. Some people just can't do it.
I happen to be an instant forgiver.
Well, you're lucky, because there was a famous person who said, they asked her, what's the thing about your marriage? And that's what she said. The most important thing about my marriage is forgiveness, because clearly he was, you know, in need of it. You know, I'm not sure what that was about. What keeps your marriage fresh and spicy? How do you do it? 3 kids, working together. How do you do it?
Making time for each other. It has to happen, and it has to be, there has to be a certain level of spontaneity, but there also has to be like a definite plan for making sure that we do things together. Have special time where we're not talking about the kids and we're not talking about business, and we're just talking about each other and what each other needs and how we can better support each other.
You've just described intimacy. I mean, that's pretty much what it is. What's the hardest thing about your marriage, and what's the best thing?
Hardest thing, I don't know. I think getting caught up in like everything that's going on, and you get so separated from the vision and the goal that you have together. And if you don't come back to it and reunite yourselves with one another, sometimes you just don't come back.
It's true. People pass each other. They hold grudges.
And you might be married, but you aren't connected, and you have to, just because you're married doesn't mean you're happily married. I mean, what's the quality of the marriage?
Yeah, and for us, I mean, there's just so many layers of who we are and what we do. So much responsibility. Like, we have to focus on each other and our relationship. We have to focus on 3 individual people who are our children. We have a business that we run together. There's just so much. So I think
got a lot of stuff.
Yeah, we're juggling a lot, or spinning a lot of plates, people would say. So I really think that the hardest part and the best part are one and the same. You know, we have to figure out how to make all of those things work and how to really be happy through it all.
Perhaps they should, you know, teach us juggling before we get married. They don't teach us anything anyway. But juggling might be, that would be a hint, or at least a heads up.
Probably be a great skill.
Reasonable. You have a mantra that I saw on your email, and it said, together, what is it? It's everyone.
It's an acronym for a team. Together, everyone achieves more.
So talk about this exciting work that you do in terms of that, because it sounds like it's the heart of what you do.
Well, I'm of the mind that nobody can really be successful on their own. You know, there's quote-unquote self-made millionaires, or people who, you know, made a life for themselves, but I really think that that's a myth. I think that everybody needs support. Everybody needs a team, essentially, around them. And, you know, that the old saying about it takes a village to, you know, to raise a child, or to, you know, to really create anything. So we take that team mantra everywhere. We have to be a team to, you know, have a happy and healthy relationship, to raise our kids, to build a business, to do anything, really.
You've been so great. Your story is great. It's, again, against the odds. And I wish you a lifetime, of success and role modelship, which is, what you guys have actually portrayed.
Thank you.
So that's all we have time for. To find out more about Mick and Tara's Gold Party events, here's how to contact them. To find out more about the It Takes Two players, contact Chris Pennick. I invite you to find out more about how I can help you through my signature program, Recharge Your Marriage Now. Enrich your marital communication skills. Reconnect for a deeper, more fulfilling relationship. Spice up your marriage and feel the love again. Here's how to find me at rechargeyourmarriagenow.com. Follow me on Twitter, like my Facebook page, subscribe to my YouTube channel. Join my LinkedIn group, How to Recharge Your Marriage, and stay tuned for news about my new, a bit racier podcast, and take the 3-day recharge challenge, absolutely free. Something you too can try on your own with a little structure. And finally, hug, kiss, touch, talk, cuddle, laugh a little, smile, and be kind to those you meet. We're all fighting a great battle. We're all in need of some loving kindness. I'm Zev Halpern. See you next time for Recharge Your Marriage.